All right. So Wendy asked me, what are your thoughts on vegan YouTubers coming out as no longer vegan for extreme health issues? Have you looked into any of them and how legitimate do you think they are? I watched one today, gave me a scare. Um, it really pushed me to feel I really ought to support reducitarianism. As of now, I'm fully vegan and I would appreciate some animal. Let's see. Oh, there we go. But would I incorporate some animals in if I felt it was good for my health? Yes, I would. So, how staunchly? Okay, okay. I get the basic idea. Yeah. So this is complicated. So when it comes to YouTuber, like when it comes to individual cases, you never know. I mean, anybody could go and just like eat 50 vegan donuts every single day, and they're probably gonna be sick with even one day. But let's say they weren't. Yeah, they're gonna feel like crap in like a week. And same thing could go for various different things. I'm just using that extreme, but somebody could try what they think is healthy, and they don't realize they're missing out on something. This goes for everything. Most people, if somebody goes vegan, people will be like, "Oh, where'd you get your protein? Where are you getting this?" And but for some reason, if they have a friend that goes and eats at McDonald's or Burger King every single day, they never say like, "Oh man, you're so unhealthy. You do this." It's like I don't know, but that's just part of life. I don't know exactly what leads to that. I could probably stop and ponder and figure it out pretty quick. But it's just part of life. It probably comes down to norms. But anyways, so single anecdotal things, even though it could sound scary because you'd be like, "Oh, I don't want that to happen to me." It doesn't mean much of anything. It's better to look at bigger studies. Studies are kind of complicated. I would personally recommend looking into nutritionfacts.org, Dr. Michael Greger. He's my favorite person that breaks down the studies and then has the sources in case you want to check them out yourself. I will admit that I am not a great study reader. I would like to learn more about it and get into that kind of thing. But yeah, it's complicated. My first thought would be, okay, I'm curious about which things that one would be worried about if somebody says like, oh, you're going to have like brain issues because of B12 or DHA or something. I personally am okay with eating bivalves, but even if I wasn't, I think it's thought of as if somebody were going to, speaking of no longer vegan people, Alex O'Connor, when he came out as no longer vegan, everybody was saying you should have just had bivalves. So I guess that would be the way to go. Bivalves have DHA, all the omega 3s. I don't know if it's just DHA and EPA. Anyways, those and B12 and omega 3s. No, omega 3s. Sorry, I'm spacing on all the things. Omega 3 would be the DHA and EPA, also B12, and then vitamin D. And so this is probably the best route to go. I think you should do this even if you aren't worried about some things. I'm all about eating bivalves. I don't know how sustainable they are. Like if everybody started eating bivalves, would there be an issue? I don't know. But anyways, I don't think that's an issue to worry about until that issue arises. But yeah, I mean, try to look into things, try to be as healthy as you can. But if you think there's something you're missing out on, something you need, I don't know. Sure, reducitarianism, whatever. The main idea of veganism or anything like it would be just actively trying to do something to cause less harm. If you're just eating a bunch of meat, especially like unhealthy meat, so if we're talking about no longer vegan for healthy reasons, then that would mean that you would have to be focusing on some kind of healthy something or other. So even to the extreme of if you were convinced it was healthy to do like a carnivore diet, whatever, if you're convinced, go for it. But there's not going to be anything that's going to give any convincing to eat meat from like fast food places, corn dogs, hot dogs, deep fried things. So yeah, if you have some concerns and you're going to eat like a tiny percent of animal products, do it. I don't think it's best. I don't know if it's best health wise. If it is, go for it. I think the best thing that anybody would ever come up with would be something like a Mediterranean diet. Seems to be unanimously thought of as like the best of whatever's close to vegan but not fully vegan. You get some fish in there and some stuff like that. I don't know if fish are thought to have anything super beneficial in a different way than bivalves. So I think bivalves are kind of the better version of eating something like fish. But yeah, doing small amounts of something is better than doing nothing. So if you're really worried about your health, then yeah, you should cut out unhealthy foods, consume healthy foods, and if you think some animal products are healthy, go for it. But yeah, as long as you're thinking in a positive way, as long as it's not like, ooh, I'm kind of craving this, so I'm going to convince myself to eat this thing. Try to make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons and you're really concerned about a health thing. And the tests will show over time. This is all kind of new in the past, 100 years, maybe a little more than 100 years of studies on this kind of thing. But we're going to get a lot more in the upcoming years. A lot more studying happens now and recently than any time before now. So yeah, just do your best, and it's always good to remind yourself that you want to cause as little harm as possible. We all probably cause some harm, but you don't want to just cause extra harm. You don't go, okay, I think I need this fish, so since I'm not fully vegan, I might as well just eat everything. There's no point in causing extra harm. If you accidentally trip over a dog and it gets hurt in the process, you step on its tail. It's not like, oh man, this dog was hurt, so now I'm going to go kick another dog. Like you don't just want to cause harm for fun. You just want to cause as little as possible. So anyways, hopefully that answered.